How about now? Check. Mic check, mic check. Okay. It's super fuzzy. Now it's good. Okay. Um so it was a circumstance where I went in expecting there to be a resolution already sort of agreed on. I expected to be the one that Evelyn came up with in the live chat, but I don't remember exactly what it was. I had mentioned that to David Sanderson on a couple of occasions, and I went in there, and all of a sudden this guy wanted to have a discussion about last time's talk. I was just like, fuck no, I'm not playing a repeat of that game. We're going to have a real debate, or we're not going to debate at all, And I bailed pretty quickly because he wouldn't come up with a real resolution, state what his position was, so that we could determine whether he actually disagreed or not. Even he didn't seem to care. He just wanted to. In fact, David Sanderson wanted to start the debate with questions and answers. No, that's not how you start a debate. You start a debate with the AF giving a speech. This is what I'm affirming. That way, they have to commit to their position. Duh. If you just allow people to dissemble and get away from actually establishing what their position is, then you're not debating. You're just wasting my time and everybody else's time. Make people establish what their actual position is and either agree or disagree with it, and then be prepared to win or lose the debate as a consequence, not to just squirm around indefinitely. It's like the fact that this guy wanted to discuss with me before we even came up with a resolution or something was all I needed to know. Okay, this fucker is not serious. He does not want to debate. He wants to bait me. And I'm not going to play that game. So, for everybody out there who's been baited by somebody around here, and people do tend to bait around here, some people do. Cloud is famously, his whole life revolves around baiting me, it seems like. But he's not the only one. There's lots of people who say baity kind of things. They say confrontational things. They say things they know I'm going to disagree with. That's all part of the FE galaxy of stars, It's all part of the FE galaxy of stars. Thank you, Abraham Rincon. I don't claim to be the GOAT, but I do claim that guy is an absolute scrub. Hi, Curious Kyra. Baiting for a reaction. I'm baiting for viewers right now, I guess. But it's like there really is a meaningful distinction to be made between actual discursive progress, rhetoric that is purposeful, things in which statements and ideas are eliminated because they're proof contradictory or disproved or whatever, and where somebody has something at stake, where they say, yes, this is my case. This is the point I am making. I am affirming. As I said, I would be willing to affirm or negate the guy, but he was clearly not interested in doing either seriously. He wanted to involve me in a conversation. He was being very non-responsive. Abraham Rincon knows how to push my buttons. I don't like problem admirers, and I don't like non-responsiveness.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, Abraham Rincon said, was the guy admiring problems and or being non-responsive? Yes, as a matter of fact, he was being non-responsive. Expects me to come up with a resolution. He's the one who, at the beginning of this whole thing, purportedly, I'm the person who has a belief in God, and he's somebody who negates that. But he doesn't want to just debate like an actual resolution such as one ought believe in God. I don't think I'd affirm that as a general rule, although maybe I would. But I would probably frame it prescriptively rather than normatively, or try to broaden the definition of believing in God, I guess, somewhat. That since believing in God is a misnomer for the behavior of faith, that or I define belief in that context as such, and so those who treat it as an ideological thing are to be negated. I can still win that debate, I guess. But what I didn't want to do is have a conversation with that guy who drives me fucking crazy. I can't remember the last time somebody's made me so angry as this person. He's doing everything wrong with language. Hi, Zandy. How's it going? I appreciate both the smile and the pink flower.
Aww.
That Jeff was doing things wrong with language? Jeff was doing things wrong with language too. Yeah, he uses his ENT penis for evil. That's right. That's my basic position on the guy. That's what we should debate. Your way of debating is immoral. I'll affirm that position. You know, I guess the best argument against that'd be hard to win that argument. The best argument against that would be your successful affirmation here disproves your affirmation. You know, because you can't successfully affirm this position without having a foil. Of course, I wouldn't need to affirm the position if I didn't have the foil. So it's been a sleepy week for you too. Maybe you and I are on sleepy week Mercury and retrograde linkage, Zandy. Me and you and Rachel. Rachel's also been having a sleepy week. Hello, Torvis Shepherd. How are you? So I want to just say that when I am successfully baited, it's very frustrating to me. Like I walked away from that conversation, even though it was relatively brief, just like seething, just absolutely seething mad, which is not typically the case for most interactions with most people. I suspect it's because he's an ENTP who I know what he's doing and I hate what he's doing. And if you don't structure things to prevent it from occurring, then he's just going to keep doing it. I hate being baited. It's a vibe. I know it's an awful sickly sweet kind of vibe as well. I would describe that as this person's vibe as sickly sweet. Note, I haven't even named this person. I don't even remember what his name is. But the thing is, I'm not trying to call him out publicly or anything like that. Whatever, I don't care. I'm just saying my experience. I'm just talking about my experience of being baited. Forget the guy. The thing is, it's like, damn, that's annoying. And it's so much what you call perceptual dominance in debate, where people, even if they've lost the round, they act really confident after the round to sort of shed onto the judge the winning vibe onto their side in case the judge is conflicted and just sort of reads their body language. He does a lot of that shit. It annoys the hell out of me. It's like, okay, yeah, shifting ground. He does the evil ENTP thing. If you've ever been hyper annoyed by an ENTP, it's probably because they've shifted ground on you, and all of a sudden you find yourself like they've changed their position. And they're trying to say that you're arguing. You're arguing about what you're trying to say. Like, no, you're trying to say this. No, I'm not trying to say that. Yes, you must be trying to say that because you're trying to say yeah. No, you're not. I'm not trying to say that. It's like that kind of shit. Just, oh my God. It's debate in the hands of an ENTP without any training, without any actual concept. Because like I began the conversation by saying to the guy, okay, we need to start with some ground rules. Here's either I can affirm or you can affirm, doesn't matter to me, but the AF is the one who is changing the status quo, and the AF has the burden to affirm. Okay, let's agree on this. And he just ignored what I said and just launched right into his baiting. He's like, okay, and then ignored what I said entirely. Actually, he asked me to explain it, explain some aspect of something. Oh, about what kind of resolution to have. What kind of resolution? And then proceeded to not apply it. It was absolutely infuriating. And well, you got to set the frame ahead of time. I'll still be happy to debate that guy, but he's going to have to agree to a resolution ahead of time. I do not want to have any conversations with him before or after, that's for sure. Not all NTPs do this. Correct, Zandy. Definitely the INTP family member and Zandy's family with a ground shifter as well, she says. I understand that. I've often said INTPs are most likely to debate like water, which is to say they try to avoid committing to anything that you can sink your teeth into to actually address as a warrant or an impact or anything. They just sort of leave everything vague. But that's legit. If they do it in a structure, fine. Then they're just being good. This guy is extremely contrarian. It's not going to work on me. Hi, Octavia Silva.
Oh my gosh, my computer is so slow.
I enjoyed typing your friend today. That was cool. That was easy. He was pretty straightforward, I think. I mean, I'm talking about IHB debaters and debate. Like in competition debate, they tend to develop a more avoidant quality to them. Oh, did you feel like you didn't know ahead of time? I just figured you wanted confirmation. That seemed pretty straightforward to me. Have I seen Mount Rushmore? I've never seen Mount Rushmore. Never have. You neither?
No, maybe that's the place we can go together.
That could be someplace we could go. Curious Kyra said she hears it's underwhelming. Well, that's not very encouraging.
No.
That doesn't really encourage me to go to Mount Rushmore. Oh. It's funny how a statement like that can actually be the determining factor in whether you go to Mount Rushmore. Oh, I know why you asked that question. Because of this cup.
Yeah. How could something like that be underwhelming? It's spaces on a mountain. That's some pretty damn difficult stuff to do. That's probably why they haven't done it in so long.
Yeah. Well, if we were going to go to a mountain, I'd rather go to see Crater Lake in Oregon or something. That's pretty cool. Kind of a long drive, not as long as Washington.
Yeah.
If you do Oregon in 2 days instead of 1, it was meant to include parts of the president's bodies.
That is so odd.
They should put little bodies underneath them, like on the caricatures you get at the beach. A little body and a big head. Oh, in case you don't know, everybody, listen, I've got an announcement. Everybody, watch out. Listen, announcement. This December, coming out, December 2020, Attack on Titan Season 4.
Oh, yeah.
If you did not know,
this is new.
Attack on Titan Season 4 is coming out this December 2020.
That's a nice Christmas treat.
Pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it.
Maybe whatchamacallit will come around that time too. Cobra Kai.
Yeah, Cobra Kai is supposed to come out maybe. I don't remember what they said, but
I don't remember either.
When Cobra Kai comes out.
Though,
look, we'll Google it. Let's Google it. Let's Google something.
The holidays would be very smart because it's popular. Plus, it'll get new people to sign up for Netflix.
Yeah. When is Cobra Kai Season 3 coming out? January 8th.
Cool!
Big news, everybody! Big news! Hey, everybody, big news. Got some more big news. Big news. Announcement. January 8th, 2021, we are going to get to have Cobra Kai Season 3. I'm excited about that.
Me too.
Very
Both
excited.
of those things are very exciting. Nice way to round out the year and start something new.
Okay, so that's 2 big announcements on tonight's stream. 2 big announcements. So I just want to say about Attack on Titan. I have seen some really great anime on Crunchyroll. Since I started subscribing to Crunchyroll, I have seen some kick-ass anime. Yeah. I have enjoyed the living hell out of a bunch of them. But Attack on Titan, I think, is the best. And I think that Blue Exorcist, though, is amazing, too. It's, it may be a recency phenomenon here because I really got a lot out of Blue Exorcist. we're currently watching the creepiest of them all, probably,
Oh my gosh.
which is Death Note. Now, here's the thing: Crunchyroll doesn't have Cowboy Bebop. In fact, like none of the streaming services seem to have. You have to buy it by the episode or buy it by the season. But yeah, Death Note is really intense. I'm really enjoying it. I didn't think it got too convoluted, Octavia Silva. Yeah, well, I'm finally getting to Death Note. I enjoyed Hunter x Hunter a lot. Hunter x Hunter was like candy, really easy to watch, really breezy. Unlike Blue Exorcist and Death Note, which are much more meaty. I can watch like 2 episodes at a time, and then I gotta take a break. The best music, the music that I will always associate with anime in general, is Naruto's music, and I really enjoyed. I watched the subs. I watched the subs. I can't stand the dubs. Americans don't dub them right. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, I really want to know what wada wada means. They say wada wada so many times in anime.
A lot.
Taylor, this is not a boring conversation. This is a very interesting conversation about anime. Yeah, Naruto music equals nostalgia. Well, Rachel sang the other day to the kitty, "You are my cat. Oh, meow, 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 meow." I think that's pretty great. That's a pretty great Naruto song right there. Samurai Champloo is superior to Bebop Cowboy? Okay. Sandy says, quick, switch the conversation to the sick rides you're fixing. Yeah, I'm not really fixing any sick rides right now. Nor am I purchasing handguns or anything like that.
So I get creeped out because from Death Note, because like I used to read, and like I am like a believer in like magic, and like it has a lot of like black magic in it and stuff, you know, like seriously, and so it creeps me out. Okay, all right, people, you want to know what scares me? It's trying to do bad things to people. That scares me.
Yeah, it's pretty dark. But for some reason, it doesn't seem to bother me at all. I guess that's FI polar or something, or NI ignoring. NI ignoring, probably.
Yeah. And it's strange because, like, at the same time, like, you want him to achieve his goals because he wants to become the Shinichai.
Right, he's the main character, so you're kind of like siding with him.
Yeah.
But then you've got, it's really engrossing.
It's good.
It challenges the audience because you do tend to side with the main character, you know?
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, he's, oh my god, but then no, oh my god! Oh, it's just so like, it's definitely, if it were any other season, I would not be able to watch it.
I think we probably are not going to get Netflix again until January, until Cobra Kai comes out, at which point we'll get it again.
Yeah. We're good with Crunchyroll.
Wow. Crunchyroll has given me both of us, so much media for the money. It's like, it's our watching time per dollar is very cheap. So we went to the weed store tonight and got some new weed. It's called Zuki's. It's pretty buddy, pretty juicy.
It is juicy.
Wada wada. It's like jabbering in meaning. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. It's just like a filler word, like, you know, or whatever.
Blah, blah.
Wada wada. Just like, and yada yada or something.
Uh-oh, it's Jeff Straw. Hey, Jeff Straw. Leave Fox alone.
Hey, Jeff Shaw. You got a little uppity the other day. Although you certainly did post the comments on that video. I woke up, I was like, 174 comments. Wow. Have you ever seen the movie Juno? Yeah, I've seen the movie Juno. So what does it mean then? If it's not filler. Wada. Oh, somebody is. I see. Okay, it's not just jabbering. It means somebody is jabbering. I got you. Hi, Grass Eater. As far as Full Metal Alchemist, I've never seen that one. I remember not watching an episode of it or something when it was on American TV dubbed and not liking it. But that could just be the dub sort of kills the whole thing, you know. Mm-hmm. So if you say something wada, it means somebody's jabbering on about something or other. It's interesting. I don't know about. I suspect that I'm somewhat atypical of ENTPs in terms of my relationships. I am not arguey at all with Rachel or really any previous relationship except like maybe when I was young. Like my first wife, I was arguey. My second wife, I guess I was kind of arguey too. But I've gotten less arguey as I've gotten older and more mature and more realized, I guess, or something. But I suspect that in general, ENTPs are difficult to be with. That they might want to be like, no, that's not right all the time. I'm not sure though. I don't know a lot of other ENTPs because we don't tend to get along with each other. Well, thanks a lot, Sean. You're the best. Aww. You are a hero among the people. You really are. Being arguey is like a drug. Mwahahaha. It is a little bit like a drug, but it's not a drug I enjoy anymore, I guess. So, I was enjoying the Dodger game, and then I had this brief talk with this guy who successfully baited me into being angry. And then I was all like, yeah, and I couldn't pay any more attention to the baseball game. Yeah. So I came on here to do a certain amount of venting out my frustration. I feel a lot better, of course. Yeah. It's like that's a nice thing about this is an example of somebody being baity. Grass Eater says it's only cool if a man is arguing out when it's a woman. Thank you, Running Fox, for correcting him. It's pronounced whoo man. My performance was shameful. I didn't have any performance. Remember, we didn't debate if this is that guy, whatever his name is. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no performance. We didn't debate. I asked you to come up with a resolution. You wanted to avoid it. That's it. I didn't chicken out. I told David Sanderson ahead of time. We need to have a resolution ahead of time, and he didn't have one. I mean, I'm not certain, but okay, you're just projecting, dude. I don't know what to tell you. This is what I'm talking about baiting, right? You're not. You're. Can I time him out? Yeah, time him out for sure. Okay. I don't want to have this kind of bullshit argument with you. Okay. That's it. I just don't want to waste my time on that. You already made me angry earlier, and I don't want you to make me angry again by saying baiting things. That's baity. That's baity pants. Baity McBaitertons. Trying to bait me again. Not going to happen. Sorry. No, it's the guy Dave Sanderson wants me to debate. I have no problem debating him. As I said, even in my email to Dave Sanderson, but I said last time beforehand, I'm like, make sure there's a resolution before we get there, He did not do that. And that was the problem. I don't want to have a conversation with this guy. If he says I'm a coward because I don't want to have a conversation, no, it's not a coward. I'm avoiding being made angry. I don't want you to make me angry. I don't enjoy being made angry. And it's that's what you're trying to do. So fuck off. I'm saying I embarrassed myself last time. Frankly, I did. I did embarrass myself. I embarrassed myself for letting that thing go on as long as it did. I embarrassed myself for getting mad, for being successfully baited. That shouldn't happen. But that's why I took measures to prevent it from occurring this time. We need a structured debate, come up with a resolution. You're purportedly against belief in God, so why don't you negate, or why don't you affirm the resolution? Belief in God is best attained through rational justifications, which is one of the positions you were making last time. There was already a resolution. David Sanderson didn't do his job here. Okay, so if you want to try to say that I was being a coward,
no, he didn't do
not remotely. I'm here ready to debate you.
Ready
to debate you, but we're gonna have a resolution ahead of time. And if you don't want a resolution, if you don't want to tell me what your position is, then that's it. I don't want to even talk to you.
And he agreed to it. He said, "Yeah, let's do that."
Yeah, David Sanderson and I were in full understanding that there needed to be a resolution ahead of time. He did not attain one, and you clearly were not really interested in finding one. You were interested in talking about other things, and that's true, whether you want to admit it or not. Look, as I said in my statement, I will debate anybody if there needs to be a resolution. One person affirming it, one person negating it. The AF makes the case initially, then the neg questions. I was willing to affirm. I acknowledge that in this kind of a context, negating is easier. He can negate, but he has to be willing to actually state a position, what his position is. Is his position that it's bad to believe in God? Then affirm that position. Or negate that it's acceptable to believe in God, that it's at least morally permissible. I'm not going to say it's morally obligatory to believe in God. I'm not going to affirm that position. So maybe we don't even disagree. But he doesn't want to tell me what his position is. I mean, no, I don't think baiting has a use. I think baiting is always avoiding the real actual issues that could be discussed, right? There are real ideas that could be discussed. But this guy comes in here and starts slinging around FE shit like I embarrassed myself. Well, I did embarrass myself. I don't want to embarrass myself again. I want to actually make him actually debate me, not just get to bait me, right? So I'm a little too smart to let him embarrass me in that fashion again. He didn't embarrass me by winning the debate, if that's what he thinks. He just dissembled the whole time and ran away and played defense. But that's still beneath me. It's absolutely beneath me. So in that regard, I embarrassed myself to participate in it. No, I mean, Curious Kyra, he was trying to make sure I approached the debate with a protruding forehead. He was successfully making me angry.
Yeah, he did.
So it's like, he was winning on that ground and on that battle. On the battle of who can bait each other more successfully, he wins. He makes me angry.
Okay.
And I don't want to be made angry in that fashion. So I don't want to have a conversation with him. But if he wants to actually debate and come up with a resolution, we can agree to debate. And he understands what affirming means, as I tried to explain to him ahead of time, and what negating means. We have some ground rules, then fine. We start with a speech, not questions. I'll affirm if need be. I'll make the first speech.
What are your favorite character type? Like, you're typing characters. What's your favorite character?
I like likable characters, whatever type they are. And whether or not a character is likable seems to be somewhat independent of whether or not the character is this type or that type. Like, even ESTJ characters can be very likable and still be realistic. Because the narration is obviously only focusing on some of the things that the characters do. So an ESTJ can be a character that's going to be presented as very valuable to the team of characters in the narration. I am not a coward. No, David did not
Yeah.
do as I planned. I made it very clear in advance, and you're lying now, sir. And I'm going to put you on timeout again for that. You are now lying. That is absolutely not true. I made it very clear to David Sanderson ahead of time that there must be a resolution, or else I was not going to participate. I made that very clear to him. So do not lie about me, sir. You can, it's one thing to come in here and just try to bait me, which I also won't allow, but it's another to slander me. So do not defame or slander me by telling lies. That is not the case. It was very clear. I made it very clear to David Sanderson. I know there's no cowardice in me at all. I'm happy to debate you right now. Come up with a resolution that I can debate you about. State your position, and if I disagree with you, I will debate you right now. Don't call me a coward. You have no cause to. Now, if the next statement you make is not a resolution that I'm willing to consider debating you about potentially, then you are the coward, sir. Because I'm willing to debate you right now about a resolution. You state a resolution that we disagree about, agree, and say you're going to affirm or negate it accordingly. I will debate you right now. No problem. So, people call me a coward because they're projecting. I'm the least cowardly person around. I face critique all day long. All sorts of legitimate critique and illegitimate critique. The fact that I won't face yours, sir, is not due to cowardice. It's due to the fact that you're incredibly annoying. You bait and deceive and misrepresent things. You are not interested in being accountable to any sort of truth. And that offends me, sir. You dissemble, and that's not how meaningful discourse occurs. And that offends me, sir. Okay, so can you join the call? Yes, John, you can join the call. All right, let's talk a little. That's good. Let's talk a little functions. Get my mind off homie.
All right, cool. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good lately. Like, really good mood. So, yeah.
What you thinking about function-wise?
Well, yeah. Well, it's like it's. Now I feel like I'm like in this like little picture trap I put myself in because like you're most useful when it's like pare down an argumentation or debate, but I don't really have one. I just kind of want to float some stuff.
Like, float stuff. Functions is different. I'm not looking to debate people. I'm not looking to debate people.
Cool.
It's like I'm not looking to be combative. That's the thing. I don't want to be sit there and be combative with that fucker.
All right, cool. So like my brother and myself, like I think he's also ENFJ, just like me, but we both have really good TE, in my opinion. Like, I mean, I was an engineer in the Navy, and like out of like 60 some people that were like doing my job, like I proved to be like the reliable and like be able to get it done on time, like with the window and stuff. So it's not just like me thinking Dunning-Kruger or something. And also his job is like a lot of TE as well. Like he's a welder and has excelled with that like really strongly.
This is interesting. It links to something I was thinking about in the car earlier, namely Pete Carroll, who's an ENFJ and probably the most successful coach in football, college or pros, and he, part of that reason I think is because he coaches defense where he is able to be much more TE about everything and less NE. And rather than coaching, where I think as an offensive coordinator requires a little bit more extroverted intuition, maybe. And I think that the interesting thing about TE and the 8 slot, well, I would point this out. When Octavio Silva made me a chart comparing me against other typology channels, all of whom are bigger than me, they all had at maximum like 300 videos. And I have over 5,000 videos. I have like 5,200 or something. So the thing is, that's kind of like SE, my 8th slot SE, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a lot of weird stuff. Like, there's just like, it doesn't feel very conclusive to me because like I really feel like I have very strong SE. Like, I did massage like since I was a toddler and like I can just get knots out of people, like, and just knew how to do that. And I thought that was like because of me doing it. And then I saw like a video and like this sensor dom saying like this SE stuff, and I'm like, that doesn't, like, I don't know that that's like, I didn't even consider that that was like a hero function SE thing, or like maybe it isn't, I don't know, but like that's something that to me like came very natural to me, like doing that.
I mean, it seems a
like,
TEFE kind of mixture thing. It's like a combination interface. The Dodgers just lost in heartbreaking fashion. Oh my god,
serious?
it's unfortunate.
Like even like primary school, like third, fourth grade, like, you know, like did the like pop people's back thing, and like I did it without ever hurting anyone, and like I would actually just know how to do it, and it would get a nice like, you know, pop with it, you know what I mean, and just could do that, and yeah.
Damn.
So
That
the Dodgers apparently lost. That's unfortunate, but it makes a series 2-2. It was an exciting game. I'm glad we didn't watch the end of it, therefore.
Damn, I was keeping up with it online, and I'm like, still bottom of the ninth, still bottom of the ninth, still bottom of the ninth. I'm like, what's up with this?
Okay, you know what the actual truth is? I'm certain, but David Sanderson specifically asked me not to stream that conversation, you asswipe. He specifically asked me to. This is the kind of bullshit I'm talking about, right? David Sanderson specifically asked me not to start live streaming right away. So I didn't. That's what I call baiting, right? He's just... Now, this guy's not Jeff Shaw. No, he's not Jeff Shaw. This is a totally different guy. This guy is... he wants to debate me, but he won't actually come up with a resolution. Even though I'm willing to debate him right now. But he has to actually agree with the resolution, and we have to have a structured debate. And we each get turns to talk, and we're not going to have any conversational part. Questioner controls the questioning and answering. The real debate, not bullshit. Otherwise, I'm not playing that game. Sorry. That's it. You can try to position it however you want. I'm not certain, but that's it.
Wow. Why? I mean, it does. I mean, I know it's not the end of the world,
so,
but it's just so much easier.
But look at what he's saying. He's spending all of his attention trying to position me as cowardly or avoidant or something. The reality is, he asked that question in the first place. Are you live streaming this? Hoping to catch me live streaming it. Then when I said, actually, no, I'm not, he switched his position and said, oh my God, you're not live streaming it because you're a coward. And then now he's accusing me of not live streaming because I'm a coward. When in reality, what happened is David Sanderson specifically asked me not to start live streaming at the beginning. I probably wouldn't have been live streaming anyway because I was just sitting there waiting for the fucker, you know, which is fine. I pushed it back to 8 o'clock. He wasn't late or anything. I'm not saying he was late, you know. But
How did he get timed out?
I timed him out.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, if you're serious about wanting to debate me, then come up with a resolution. State what your position is. Let us disagree or agree on that position and determine whether we're going to debate accordingly. Don't be an asswipe. It's that simple. If you won't do that simple thing, then you're not serious. So this FE shit, Sean.
Yeah. Oh, my niece did something like really cool today, and I thought, wait, I think that is an E, like, because it was so quick. Like my brother was saying, like, oh, I need to get a patch on my eye, but he wasn't pantomiming a pirate. He wasn't doing anything. He was like, you know, talking pain and like talking like put a patch on his eye, right? And it wasn't really working with it. And she just instantly was like, yeah, like a pirate, and just like came in like pop.
I call that NI, not NE.
Oh, it'd be an I maybe. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, I think it's the logical external reference point, like the.
Oh, okay.
So I call that NI.
Yeah, I might just be like underestimating her because like I just didn't think without a visual cue or any kind of like acting like a pirate or anything that she would just come up with like the pirate talk and start like doing that, you know. So it's funny. Yeah, she's just outgoing. It's pretty fun.
So what type do you think she is?
Oh, I don't know. I just thought that was like innate, like what she did. Like, but
how old is she?
6.
Yeah, I mean, you can sort of type people at that age.
Yeah, it's like whatever, just let her be, you know.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
I think she has FE though, because of or just some kind of loyalty, something. It was like I've seen her immediately put a mask on because like her mom didn't like one person, right? And and then she like understood that, and then she didn't want to betray her mom. But like, you know, she could hang out with the person and be cool with them, and then if her mom showed up, she'd be like, no, that person's whatever. Just like totally ignore them and act like that person creeped her out, you know. And so she's like trying to like show the solidarity with her mom. Like her mom's like oblivious to it. She's like INTJ. Like I don't know. It's funny.
You know, one thing I've noticed about Rachel is, okay, well, that's fine, Joseph H. I'm fine with him expressing his viewpoints. He just has to actually make arguments, make a speech, right? Like I'll make a speech. I'll be I'll go first, make a speech. Then he can ask me questions about what I said, right? He wants to start with questions. David Sanderson wants to start with questions. That makes no sense at all. What is your position first? He doesn't want to establish what his position is. He doesn't want to lay claim to any statement. He wants to ask me a bunch of questions first. Yeah, well, when I put him on timeout, I delete his shit. Absolutely. I'm not going to allow his baiting to fester in the live chat.
Like,
I told you, fucker. Hey, I told you. You give me a resolution or just keep your mouth shut. Otherwise, you're just being a coward and you're avoiding the actual debate. Tell me a resolution we can debate about or shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Like, for sure, like, your functions, like, almost like what you described, like the way the stacks behave and like the way they work, like it just lines up with me so very well. Like I feel like FE is the world that I live in, and like I don't even consider it like compassion anymore. Like it just feels like consciousness, like just kind of like a higher, you know, social grade thing.
Well, it's like what Sandy says here. There's Sandy in Spanish that says, the one who gets upset loses. And that's what this guy wants Eric to seem like, that he's lost his composure. The thing is, I never did lose my composure, but he immediately started accusing me of that right off the bat. Because I was saying, give me a resolution then. And he'd say something else. And I'd say, I don't want to talk about that. Give me a resolution then. He'd say something else. I don't want to discuss this. I mean, the plan was, but I made very clear to David Sanderson, is that I was not going to do this unless there was a resolution. That's what I made very clear weeks ago. Okay. This was scheduled a couple weeks ago, and then he delayed it, and that's fine. I'm not even accusing him of that meaning anything, unlike what he's trying to do. I mean, Matthew, that sort of okay. I mean, I was upset right away, sure, because you were baiting me again, and I didn't want to be baited. So sorry, I'm not going to let you do that. If you want to debate me, then come up with a resolution that actually we can debate about and agree to the actual terms where one of us speaks, then the other speaks, and there's question period and answer period where the questioner controls the questioning. A real debate. We'll have equal time to talk. I'll either affirm or negate, and there'll be a real resolution. If you won't agree to that, then you don't want to actually debate me. Then you're just dissembling again, right? You're trying to claim that I'm cowardly when you're trying to avoid actually debating me about a topic. Some people ask me to take them down. Some videos have been getting flagged lately, but I don't think any type police videos have successfully been flagged. Somebody, right, you got upset at me trying to upset you. Haha, you lose. Well, maybe I did lose then. Maybe I lost that conversation, Matt. Maybe I lost that conversation. I don't want to play that game. So yeah, maybe I lost that game, but I don't want to play that game. I want to have an actual debate or not, but I'm not going to play that game. You're right. I'm bad at that game, and you consistently are going to win that game. You're going to make me mad and make me seem like I'm getting emotional. Yeah. So I don't want to play that game unless if you want to actually debate, you'll agree to a structured debate. If you don't, then you won't, and that's fine.
Like I don't think people get it. Like it wouldn't matter how mad you are. Like when you go into a debate, like your tool TI. So like it's just
that's if it's structured.
It wouldn't matter.
It does matter. It does. He successfully got me mad last time. You know.
Yeah,
He's interested in avoiding a real structured debate because he knows that.
I mean, like I just mean in a debate. I'm saying like if you were going to win the debate and you went in angry or you went in calm or you went in any emotional state, like as long as you were cogent, like you're going to do the same.
My arguments would be the same either way. That's true.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
That's true.
Like,
that's true. But I won't be perceived the same way, and that's part of the battle too. So if the truth is, if we're gonna have a discussion, then Matt will successfully bait me and make me angry, and so he will win that quote unquote discussion. But if he wants to actually debate me in a structured debate where he has to defend a real position or make a real argument, then I will just destroy him.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking of the debate because I'm not familiar with that world, so I was like, colloquially, like debate is like winning hearts and minds. So I was like, no way. But then, like, if it's this way with debate with like proper arbiter and everything, then it would just
it just needs to be the two people aren't talking at the same time. It needs to be structured. So the one person gets a speech, then there's a questioning period by the other person. Then the other person gets a speech. There's a questioning person, and we agree that the AF is trying to make a case, and if they fail to make it, then egg wins.
Yeah,
the AF it's basic stuff.
Locke's general rules and order, like that kind of thing.
But it's not even that. It's just saying that instead of having a conversation like this where both people get to talk when they want to, that there are turns and that it begins with the AF making some sort of case. In other words, somebody has to affirm a position for there to be a debate. If nobody's willing to affirm a position, then there's no debate to be had.
Right.
And this is what I'm trying to get this guy to come up with a position statement. The one he gave me is one I agree with.
I may or may not have won debate on Reddit like a week ago. Some ISTJ floated this question if humanity had to all be just one type and it could only be one type, which type would do the best? And then they were arguing for ISTJ, and then INTJs came in and were like, you don't innovate, INTJs to do it. And I was like, I think it's ENFJ because our weakness is other types, kind of joking, but I was like, but definitely not you guys because you have no FE and no one to copy FE from.
I think
so
it's ESTJ.
Gonna have kids, and whoever does have kids, their kids are wrecked because there's no way you get a parent. So.
I think ESTJs would have the easiest time of it, just because
a world of nothing but ESTJ though.
Well, everybody would be behaving sort of according to the same set of rules, I guess.
I don't know. I think ENFJ because the personal growth thing, and I just don't know that SI polar holds me back from being able to do anything. I guess I don't know.
Well, I mean, SI polar is probably one of those useful polars to have. It means you can go and go and go and take few breaks, and then I guess eventually crash. Yeah.
I definitely love tool TI, and I have a few friends that are tool TI, but still sometimes even as long as they know me and as many times as we've gone over it and they get it, they still slip back into this thing where there's sort of a scan default thing they do where they're just you're not giving me anything to meet a judgment on, it's no, I just want to talk. It's the funny thing. You said the tool function just wants to be useful, right? Somehow. But sometimes they get stuck there.
Don't toss David Sanderson.
I meant under the bus.
Okay. Rachel just wrote, and I'm going to throw David Sanderson, but he didn't fulfill his position as moderator. What she meant was I'm going to throw David Sanderson under the bus.
Yes.
Yeah, the thing is, it's not a matter of being a bad moderator. It's a matter of not listening to me ahead of time. When I explained to him, this is going to be a resolution debate only. I'm not going to play this fucking who can bait the other person better game. I don't like that game. I concede defeat to that. I'm not as good an FE player as this person. I don't want to be. I don't think discourse should be used for that purpose.
On individuations, there's things with NI, to me discovering universal truth, in that feeling, that's NI. But there's also kind of the biome, the gut biome, all this stuff that gives you this sort of, self-preservation kind of thing. Don't go down there. And I think that that's independent of NI, but just, it's also called intuition. So people say the gut thing. And I think there's no, I don't think you're making calculate with your mind. I think it's literally just all the millions.
I think that's an NI thing for sure. what you're talking about.
It has to be, that's an eye, even the gut biome thing? Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like,
is that kind of woo? I don't know.
okay, I remember in middle school one time, my friend and I were going to go shoplift at this drugstore, and I sort of caught a vibe of the people watching us closely. So I didn't steal anything, but my friend did, and he got caught, and I didn't.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I think that's you seeing something. Like the gut one is like you don't have anything to go on. It's like it's just your gut. Like you're like they don't want your body to die. Like somehow they're smarter, aware of something. Like you know.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think there's got to be something to go on. It's like, how are you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think I think there is a kind of intuition that exists from a gut biome, and it's not from your brain. And I think there's an intuition that's in your heart as well. That's not from your brain. And I think if it's from your brain, then it's going to be an eye, right? It's like, or any or whatever. But,
so what do you think the one from your heart is? Something different?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I don't think it's related to your brain at all. Like the one for your heart is like the book. It's like super famous book, man. Douglas Adams, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? So he talked about this idea, but that wasn't his original thing. Like that's a real idea. Like you get in a lot of distress or whatever, and like and people that are really close to you, like people that have you in their heart, like in their memory of the heart, like the heart has its own neurons, like has memories of some people, like your stress signal goes out. And like that's happened to me in two ways. Like I received it from my brother, like I was in California and he was back east, and I called immediately, like just my heart intuition. It felt completely different. And I called him, and he had just broken his arm, and I calmed him down, and I'd broken mine, so I kind of gave him some advice, so he didn't like mess up his cast the first 3 days or whatever, and just calmed him down. It was there, and it was just a flow moment, you know, just boom, heart told me to do it, I did it. And my sister, when I was in Japan, like I was suffering, and then she felt it from me. So that's, I mean, it's not a lot to go on, right? I get that, but I think that that's just different than actual like brain on it. And then also like I think like the self-preservation one, where like you're going to get smushed, and I think that that's like, I do think that's a gut biome thing, like for that one. And then like actual NI is discovering universal truth. Like I don't think these like things where you're like,
I think those are kind of the same thing. I really do. I think the thing that you're attributing to something other than NI is just a different variant of it. It's like I don't know about that whole like connected across distance thing. I've heard other people talk about it as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's some science for that, for like the range that it can like actually transmit. It's like 5,000 times more than your brain or something like that, and like who knows, you know. So there's something there. I don't know. But
so I typed an ISTJ this morning, and I gave them the remote associations test, and he didn't do very well. He got a couple of the easy ones, and
yeah, they won't relax on that. Like they actually try to just think it through. And he's like, stop, just relax. Like I'm like, just relax and scroll it up and down, and when one pops out at you, just trust that it'll be there by the time you bring it out. Like that's all you do. I mean, it'll just be right there. Like that's all I do. Like
yeah, well, that's NI tool function for you.
I mean, that thing is like, I don't know. That's like a dopamine hit. Like it's so funny to me. It's like like that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because as I've been typing people lately, I've got a general sort of vibe for what type they are.
Yeah, man, that when you got that Japanese guy, like that was so good, because like people don't understand it, and I can't even explain it now. Like it's like I lived in Japan for over a decade. I understand the way they like Honai on that is like it's just different, the way they present themselves and everything. And like especially when you did the what and why, like the what is like when they translate it, it's just not technically correct. It's like it's so difficult for that one, because they say like nande or like doyumi, and doyumi would get to the why, right? But nande can be literally translated as why, even though it's like nanide, you know, it's like nande, right? So it's he's going to be correct in like interpreting what you're saying through any kind of a dictionary. But when you're asking the motivation, like the why, that's going to be like a doyumi, not like, and he's not going to understand that. You're going to say why, and then he's going to say, oh, that's nande, and answer the what, because they use nande as what. Like, it's like nani. It's like that. So it's so
Nande. Nande.
Nande.
I picture Naruto standing over some dead body going, Nande, Nande.
Yeah, but that was just beautiful to see because I was getting lost, man. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I don't even know this guy because it's just like, how do you nail him down? And then that was like knowing those like alternative sort of moods of where the functions are in the stack. Like I don't know if that's fair to call them moods, but like you know what I'm saying? Like sort of I don't know, something like that. And like that sort of made it make sense a lot. And I think it made a lot of sense to him. Like he was like chirping at the end. Like you couldn't tell, but like he did this like relaxed cat face and like he's just beaming. He's just like oozing. Like it was so funny.
That's interesting. I have no idea how to read Japanese people, obviously. And I'm not generally particularly active in reading people on FE grounds in general. So speaking Japanese is something that it's like when you watch a whole bunch of anime in a row, you start to hear lots of words over and over again, but you still don't know what any of them mean. It's this weird
you still have to
phenomenon.
rethink. You still have to rethink communication. It's not the same thing as like going from English to a German or like English to Italian or French. Like it's just not the same at all. Like I mean, French barely does some stuff that's weird. Like in France, like if someone asks if you want something, you don't say please because it would be like sarcastic. You'd be like, that'd be nice, and they don't pay attention, they do attention. So there's like little things. But Japan is like your whole paradigm for what communication is and what it's for and how you behave is different. So yeah, it's just very, very different.
Well, the idea, Joseph H., I'm going to respond to something here in the chat. Joseph H. says, I don't think that pushing people in hard categories is particularly useful, although it might be effective at communicating a particular idea you are trying to convey. I don't think it corresponds to the reality of the situation. Well, first I point out that you're saying, I don't think that putting people in hard categories is particularly useful. It might be useful in this way, effective at communicating a particular idea, but you don't think that it corresponds to the reality of the situation, which I think you just mean to reality in general, right? So, okay. Well, first of all, talking about a personality type is talking about one possible configuration of attentional manners. So the idea of cognitive function typing is that there are a finite number of attentional manners, and they configure in a finite number of ways. Now, the expression of those configurations can be somewhat varied for a couple of different reasons. But the idea that the configurations are finite is something that is a claim that I do make. You may say that that's equivalent to putting people in hard categories, but I would say it's equivalent to successfully modeling the ways in which people express consciousness, given the nature of attentional manners, the mutual exclusivity, inverse proportionality, and other kind of relationships between them. And it all stems from the actual brain function of locality suppression, which is to say, as one part of the brain lights up, surrounding parts light down. And
can I say something?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
For me, the NE-SI like axis, right? Like, and I'm cut off from SI, so if I NE, like I can't just propagate and keep going. The first few will come, but like with being cut off from SI, like I feel like I would probably need that to have some confidence to keep going and go. But I don't, because it's like weird territory, right? Because it is, but I don't have SI at all. So like I can't like go, oh, that pleased people before, or like that made me feel good when I did that before. So I feel like I'm on a runaway train and I just shut down. Like I'll do it like 3-4 ideas, but I can't do 20 in a row. And I've seen these NE people just like just keep going, man. And they're just so happy,
Right. What Alt says here is a good statement as well. The map isn't the terrain, but some maps are better than others. True. Okay, so
well, I particularly love Personality Junkie because they're like telling people that they have like no consciousness and that they can have like 3 functions by the time they're 30, maybe. Like it's crazy. It's like,
well, I mean, the thing is, the point about Joseph H is that they're neither binary nor gradient. They're mechanically related, which is to say, that it's necessary for SI to feed me things from the past to build extrovert intuition off of that, say, new ideation. So there's a mechanical relationship of both exclusivity, when I'm doing one, I'm not doing the other, and necessity of relation. So it's like,
I feel it when I get in a flow state with it.
I mean, the thing is, the key thing is, it's understandable to say, to want a distinction to be made between binary and scalar gradient. And these, to a certain extent, aren't scalar gradient. It's true in the sense that you wouldn't say a person has 80% meow, meow, meow. But in fact, you could measure it, if you were going to measure it in a gradient kind of a fashion, you'd measure it in total hours of the day and total minutes and stuff. And you'd say, well, this amount of the day is spent attending via this attentional manner. In conjunction with this other attentional manner in the following relationship. In other words, one's master, one's slave in the relationship. So it's like, for me, SI is the slave to extroverted intuition, but they're both going to be active a lot during the course of a given day. If we were to successfully be able to map out brain functions in terms of lighting up brain areas and stuff like that and match it with the cognitive functions, then you'd be able to actually see that a person spends a majority of their time attending via this kind of light up pattern rather than this other kind. Now, whether or not Daria and Artie's central thesis there, that there's a distinct light up pattern for distinct cognitive functions, is true or not, is an open question. I'm not saying that we should not treat it as such. So, but if it were the case, then we'd be able to actually measure it in terms of the unit would be time. And that's the thing that SI polar types like Sean here typically forget when they're trying to understand cognitive functions and stuff, is that you have a finite number of hours in the day, and that you spend your time attending by certain ways and not by others. So when ENTJs, who are more susceptible to this even than ENFJs, start mistaking cognitive functions for skills they can master and put in their briefcase of awesomeness, then you know they've misunderstood the nature of the beast that they are chasing.
Well, I think like it works. like FE, right? Like I wouldn't say like 100% FE is where I'm parked anyway. I'd be like, there's a certain amount of TI that's still there, like on the axis or whatever, to like be there, because I've definitely felt me flip into too much FE, like kind of I'm in this gear, right? But FE's too hard, and then the TI is like silent, and then I'll say like really illogical things, like, you're supposed to do the thing that I want you to do without me telling you that you should do it, and you should just know for no fucking reason, and like there's no logic, there's nothing there, right? It's like
that's
I don't feel like that's my normal neutral. I feel like that's something like I got pushed too far.
Well, I think that's when your FI fifth slot objects. So I get offended by people who I don't think have enough respect for the truth, and other people, you get upset when other people are not FIing, I guess. But the thing is, here I want to answer this question that somebody asked here, which is Octavia Silva asked, "Do I know any ENTPs that are worth observing to learn more about the type?" Well, not really, because I would say, Isaiah Rude is an ENTP as well, and he's a less type 8 style ENTP than me, so he's not as prone to getting angry. Go ahead.
Like, I feel like, I had my FI on lockdown like forever, because I felt like I felt people's FI, and I felt it letting them make mistakes, and I was very cautious of making social mistakes, and I just crushed it down. And I mean, I really felt like I started to open it up when I was 19, and that's when I went to the platinum world, the golden world, and the black and world started developing grays, and it took until my mid-20s. And now I feel like I'm in touch with my FI, and I'm comfortable with it, but that somehow the world I live in is an FE, and it's protecting me, and I don't think I'll ever go over that line. Like, I don't think I'll ever be so selfish that I'll be a bad person or whatever. Like, I think I'm very free, and I'm very comfortable on my FI, and it took a long time to get there. And, so I do the FE without even thinking about it, and it's just sort of like course corrects here and there. Like, I don't feel like it's like a over my head attention almost, like, and that, like, I feel like my FI is allowed to come out and play now, and just be there. And
well, I mean, I also, have a similarly improved relationship with my FI, but I would suggest that for me anyway, it's because primarily learning about cognitive functions and also just being pretty like not really having any negative shit in my life. Really, I don't have.
Well, I mean, like I really got to make a calculation, and it was like this was the best function to make the calculation with it, right? Like, yeah, this is gonna. Wow, it turns out you do the thing that you really like, and you avoid the things you don't like. You're like your mood improves throughout the week, right? Like, and I don't have to worry about something else, you know. Sort of like I don't know. Just like when you're young, right? Like the naivete and just assuming the world works a lot better than it does. And then like the more you learn about like what's reasonable or not, you sort of get more freedom. So like that's kind of how it is, I think. Like that's like lets the FI like eventually come out, at least for me.
So as far as ENTP characters and stuff like that, I mean, most ENTP characters are endowed by the storyteller with TE that ENTPs don't really have. So it's kind of hard to find real ENTP characters who are realistic. But I would say, you know, Tsunade from Naruto, she's an ENTP. That's one I can think of.
Have you ever seen Pony Pony Dash?
No.
That show is just any all day. Like, oh my god.
So Joseph H asks, so what happens when a person's expression and orientation changes with different participants in different social spaces, like perhaps during sports is one way, but a family it's another, etc. Well, I mean, that would be consistent with the idea that there are certain circumstances in life that are more conducive to using certain cognitive functions than other circumstances. So it would be to be expected that
I think that's why festivals are so great. Like when you can just surrender FE attending to the event itself, and you get to go in an SE and just like do this stuff, and it's like no one is like the event itself is necessarily just like chaos, and there are no social graces, like you're wearing a mask or however, and it's so much freedom, and you can just do stuff. Like when you're playing a sports game, like you're on a team and it's very clear, but even then you're supposed to be aggressive with each other and like, you know, whatever. And like, I don't have any FE concerns. I'm just on a team and we're like killing the other guys. And I'm just like, I'm just all SE and just reading people and just like, you know,
yeah, well, I mean, I think it's especially true for people who either countervalue or blind to SI that they're going to enjoy flow states. You know, for me, I enjoy being in a flow state as well, and that has to do with fourth slot SI. But ultimately, I'm well served to try to balance that with more, real time experience stuff like taking a bath and like. Yeah, I took a bath yesterday for the first time in like 5 days or something. It was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm getting tired, and I'm going to call it a night. I'm still somewhat on sleepy week here. So, although I'm starting to get a full amount of sleep in me.
One last thing. What do you think about the SENI axis for like all the Kung Fu guys? Because like they can meditate all day and be like all NI, and then the NI is just off, and then their SE is phenomenal. Like, you know.
One would assume that they're SE DOMs, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. And thank you, Sean, very much. I appreciate your contribution. And good night, everybody. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.